Going up the stairs, I play symphony sometimes.
Oh, it's like, what is that?
Do you need a knee replacement?
I don't know, I'm not gonna go find out yet.
You don't want to do. Orthopedic can help.
It's hereditary. These things are hereditary. What are you gonna do? Keep moving.
Keep moving.
Can't sit down and cry. So.
No.
All right. But not in public.
Right.
No, not public.
Right.
It'd be hard.
All right, today we're going to be in Ephesians chapter 4, verses 17 through 32. The lesson after that, lesson number 10, lesson 10 is for next week, which will be Ephesians 5, 1 through 14. I already have put the following week's lesson up here, but I changed the schedule. So lesson 11 is Ephesians 5:15 through 69. And then we'll have one more lesson after that, and then we'll be on Bible study break for the whole month of July. Okay? Thank God for Reverend Jones agreeing to teach that last lesson, because we'll be in Baltimore, and he'll close the book out, which is great because he started the first lesson as well. So we thank God for him. I also want to thank God for Brother Mark, who's working with us this week, running with me to a mission of mercy today, and then Sister Williams holding everything together. And we're praying for Sister Miller. Talked to her the other day. She's doing all right. We also want to keep Sister Cynthia Bouvet in prayer with all of her uncle. I know some of you all saw that message. Are there other specific prayer requests we want to pray about before we get started?
Pray for a young lady by the name of Barbara that I'll be dealing with down there in the meeting.
Barbara.
Yes, the name is Barbara. Yes.
Pray for my sister-in-law, Shawn. She's going through her third bout with breast cancer.
Okay.
So metastasized.
She's not a member. Is she a member?
No.
Okay. Okay. There's another sister by that name that comes here. This is back. So.
No.
Okay. Okay. Sean Warren. Okay.
Got good spirits right now.
Yes,
She
sir.
announced it at our family outing Sunday. Just wants some warriors.
Yes, sir.
I did.
Pray for her. She's been here before.
Yeah.
She came. She was in Bible study before.
Yes.
Right. Okay. I remember now. Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's the one I had to sick on you. I remember now. All right. All right, let's pray. Father in heaven, thank you for the family of faith. And thank you for always hearing our prayers. And God, as we get ready to go into this lesson, we lift up Sister Warren to you, oh God. Thank you for the faith in you. God, for how she trusts you and loves you. We pray that you would touch her. God, with your hand of healing, we know that you can move anything. And Lord, while we're praying for her, we also lift up Sister Bouvet. We lift up, God, some of our members who are ill. So many dealing with respiratory issues. And then, Lord, we ask you to touch Sister Miller. And God, touch all of our staff as we work to serve you. We pray, Lord, for all of our leadership team, all of our members. God, we ask you to be in control of our lives. We know
Yes,
you are. And then, Lord, let us be plugged into what you're doing.
Yes,
So
Lord.
that we might enjoy the blessing of being in line with your will. Strengthen us now as we attempt to teach your word and give us an understanding. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Pastor, before we get started, let me say one more thing.
Yes, sir.
This Bible study, we've been together about almost 4 years now. And I have learned so much. Like when she got to announcing about this cancer. I mean, it's serious. Because this is the third time.
Yes, sir.
And she's telling everybody, I don't want y'all crying.
Right.
I don't want to see this on Facebook.
Right.
I just want you to pray for her.
Right.
And then I got a chance to speak. And I brought out about Paul's thorn in his side, 2 Corinthians. And she said, yes, that is it.
Yeah.
Because anytime you've got something that you think you're not going to overcome, just think about that 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 7 to 12. I
Yes,
think
sir.
it is. And where he says, my grace is sufficient for you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's good. That's the word for me today. And thank you for sharing that. Because sometimes we feel like
It's
we're
too
not going
much.
to make it. It's too much. Lord, I need you to take this. And if you've never laid awake at night wrestling with an issue like that passage may not hit you as hard. But once you go through something like that, and you're thinking, Lord, I can't handle this.
I can't handle it.
What he does is he applies his grace because he knows you can't handle it. And so he doesn't always change the situation. What God often does is change us. And I found that to be better sometimes than if the Lord moved the situation. Because if he moved the situation and I stayed the same, I wouldn't be able to handle it next. So sometimes he gives us strength to deal with what we're dealing with because there's something else that's going to come along. The other reason is, I don't know why the Lord is having us deal with this today, but that also gives me extra strength so that the next time something happens, I can help somebody else.
There you go.
Yeah, and so that's that overflow living.
Yes.
When the Lord is pouring enough in us to share with somebody else.
Yes.
And that's sometimes why we go through what we go through. There was a guy, and I should call him, and I think I will, named Reverend James Hawkins, just like our James Hawkins. And he had been through some things, and I got some news from the doctor one time that scared me to death. I could not talk. I went from the doctor's appointment, tried to go back to work. My staff asked me what was wrong, and I couldn't open my mouth. I know, that's amazing. I know y'all think that's amazing. I was speechless. But I was literally speechless. And I went in my office, and I wrote a note that said, I'm going home for the rest of the day. When I got home, I called him, and I said, Hawk, this is what they're telling me. And he said, Reverend, let me pray with you. He said, until you get this news, this doesn't necessarily mean that. And what it was, I thought I had cancer. And it scared me speechless. I couldn't talk. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't wait for my wife to get home. When she came home, I collapsed and pulled the tears. She was like,
You for real? Okay, go. So you got some humbleness in you when you cry.
I was like, this is what the doctor's saying, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, well, let's just wait till we get the next report. We got the next report, and it wasn't cancer, praise God. That was some years ago. But I understand what that feeling is like. And I had somebody I could call to help me through that situation. So, as Brother Mark and I were talking earlier today, that's part of the benefit of being in the body of Christ. That you have other people you can lean on, who can pray with you and pray you through what you're going through. So thank God. All right, let's go to verse number 14. I think that's where we pick up today, 17, and then we'll dive in. And I think I'm going to start at verse. Oh, I'm in the wrong chapter. That's why this is not making sense. Verse 17 of chapter 4. Now this I say and testify in the Lord that you must no longer walk as the Gentiles do in the futility of their minds. They are darkened in their understanding, alienated from the life of God because of the ignorance that is in them due to their hardness of heart. They have become callous and have given themselves up to sensuality, greedy to practice every kind of impurity. But that is not the way you learn Christ, assuming that you have heard about him and were taught in him as the truth is in Jesus, to put off your old self, which belongs to your former manner of life and is corrupt through deceitful desires, and to be renewed in the spirit of your mind, and to put on the new self, created after the likeness of God in true righteousness and holiness. Therefore, having put away falsehood, let each one of you speak the truth with his neighbor, for we are members one of another. Be angry and do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your anger, and give no opportunity to the devil. Let the thief no longer steal, but rather let him labor, doing honest work with his own hands, so that he may have something to share with anyone in need. Let no corrupting talk come out of your mouth, but only such as is good for building up, as fits the occasion, that it may give grace to those who hear. And do not grieve the Holy Spirit of God, by whom you were sealed for the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and anger, bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and slander be put away from you along with all malice. Be kind to one another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, as God in Christ forgave you. Amen.
Ooh, that was a lot.
That's a lot, isn't it? Yeah. That's a lot, isn't it? So what we're going to do today is we're going to take it a piece at a time, okay? So when Paul is referring to the Gentiles in verse 17, who is he referring to? Okay, there we go. Who is he referring to? The Gentiles.
Christian?
The unbelievers. The unbelievers.
The unbelieving Gentiles. Because remember that the Ephesian church has Gentile and Jewish believers, but he's talking about the behavior and the mindset of those who are unconverted. They have not yet come to Christ. And so what are the characteristics of their lifestyle? What does their life look like?
Sinful, bad, judgmental.
Darkness. What did you say?
They're
They're ignorant. They have hard hearts.
Yeah.
They have an, this is the word that struck me. They have an appetite for evil. They have an appetite for it. Years ago, there was this rock band that came out with, and the title of the album was Appetite for Destruction. And I was shocked at the time. But they have an appetite for things that are destructive. That's what they want. Okay? You ever heard that expression when somebody get ready to get into a fight and the other person tells the person, this ain't what you want?
Right.
Okay? That's these folks. They are really consumed with what they don't want, but because they're so pig-headed, they don't realize it. Okay? And that's question 3. The phrase hardness of heart is a unique figure of speech. This doesn't occur anywhere else in the New Testament. But what it means is stubborn unwillingness to learn or having a closed mind. Why is this characteristic particularly troubling in light of the others mentioned?
Well, having a closed mind means you ain't willing to learn.
Right.
You don't want no that, you don't want nothing new.
All right? What else?
It puts out the possibility that you might change, that you have God come into your life.
Yes, it retards the opportunity for change because I don't want to hear it. What else? Anybody want to?
And quiet as it's kept, they might be scared of what they might become.
Oh!
Open it up, yeah.
Yeah, so there's also the possibility that this hardness of heart is really a ploy because it's covered up fear.
Yeah, it's
Okay? All right? They're scared of their own potential. Okay? Anybody else?
It's separated from what God has for you.
Separates us from what God has from us. God has given us the opportunity for salvation and the life of Christ, the life of the Christian community, of being involved with other people. But when I'm unwilling to accept what He has for me,
That's free gift.
this free gift is right there in front of me, but I'm too pig-headed to accept it, then it cuts me off from what God has for me.
Pastor, I grew up with a lot of older people that was like that. I want to say my brother, he was like that. You know, he was stuck in his ways, didn't want to, change to be reformed to this new way of life. Because, growing up, we get some misinformed information, and they wanted to keep that lifestyle, and a lot of them died with that lifestyle.
Yeah.
And he would say, I did what I wanted to do.
Yeah, but was it good for you?
No, it wasn't good for him at all.
Yeah, there's a expression that you might write down right here called planned failure.
A planned failure.
Planned failure. I learned this term from a buddy of mine who lives in Tennessee now. We were working together on a project, and here's the other one: self-sabotage.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Self-sabotage.
And you know, a lot of people would do that because they're afraid of success.
Yes.
So they sabotage everything that they're going through
Yes.
because they're scared.
They're scared of what's going to happen. What if I actually succeed?
Yeah.
What if I actually get saved? What if I actually yield my life to God and He changed it? What then? And what this guy told me, he said we were working on this project. I'm in this cubicle over here. He's in the cubicle over there. I'm typing away, working on my piece. The lady sitting in the office with me is working on her piece. We assume he's working on his piece. So the deadline comes, we all supposed to send our stuff in, and the day that the guy's supposed to send his stuff in, he don't come to work. On the deadline day. We were doing some technical writing. He doesn't come to work. Boss calls us and says, I've been trying to reach so-and-so. Have you been able to reach him? No, he didn't show up over here. We thought he was over there. Because we had two satellite offices. No, he's not over here. He's not over there. We thought he was over there. No, she's calling him on the phone. She can't reach him. Can't reach him, can't reach him, can't reach him. Finally, he calls her and quits. A few days later. About a week later, he calls a couple weeks later, wants to meet us for lunch. So we meet him off-site at lunch, and we're like, man, what was going on? And he's like, man, I sabotaged myself. He said, that whole time I was supposed to be working, I was surfing the internet. He said, I knew what I was supposed to be doing, I knew how to do it. He said, but I just didn't do it because I was afraid of what would happen if I actually finished the work. He said, this has been a pattern in my life. And me and the other lady grabbed hands with him, had prayer with him right there. You know, and since then his life has turned in a lot of different ways. But there are some people that are so hard-hearted that they won't come to Christ because they see what He offers. And the scripture talks about this. They see the goodness of God. They see what He has to offer. But what they decide to do instead of coming to Him is what do?
They wrong.
Yeah, they turn away. They back away from Him. Because, verse 19, they have become what?
Okay, let's get there.
What's verse 19 say they have become?
Over.
First word.
Callous.
Callous. So the result, question 4 of that mindset is that they become what?
Hard. Callous.
Yeah, they have a hard heart. But what it winds up in is that they give themselves up.
To bad things.
Yeah.
I'm willing to learn about new things,
Yes.
and they're keeping themselves learning or living for Christ, and they're being greedy and separate themselves from their blessings. They're keeping themselves from being blessed.
Yes.
What God had for them.
And instead of getting what God has for them, they give themselves over to this destructive appetite. They become callous.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, brother?
And Dr. Constable says, those unbelievers do not typically have a worthy aim or goal in life.
Yes, sir.
A worthy aim or goal. in
They
life.
have no worthy goal. Thank you for reminding me to open that. Or goal in life. They are simply feeding themselves garbage. Okay? I can't remember who this thing is. These spinning wheels. It drives me nuts.
I'm mad.
No, I'm not typing it in right. Okay, thank you, Brother Foley. Yeah, and I think that I had that highlighted as well. They give themselves over to sensuality, and they have no worthy goals. What they do is they just get deeper and deeper and deeper in sin. And I know none of us have had that experience where we just kept sinking further and further, but it can happen. Okay. This does not just mean it's a mindset. They're actually doing things that are physically depraved. And I had a friend that I watched go through this one time, and everybody was like, man, what is wrong with him? It was just like, he just refused to repent. okay? Now, the scripture says then in verse number 20, what does that say?
Was that
Yeah.
not the way?
You know what that assumes? That this behavior is learned. That there's hardness of heart, ignorance, being callous, giving themselves up to sensuality. All of that is learned behavior. They learned it somewhere. Okay?
You make me think that they learned it as a child, as a teenager, or what?
Sometimes you learn as an adult. You see what other people are doing and you do it too.
Yeah, oh, now, then you okay.
Now I'm telling myself, so don't y'all, quit the church. And I told
And
you
they
the
done it to
story.
me, so I did it to other people.
That's how I learned how to smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
I watched people in my family smoke. They had a cup of coffee in one hand and a cigarette in the other hand, and I thought it was cool. And the first chance I got, when I got old enough where I could go in and buy a pack of cigarettes, I went and bought my first pack, a Newport Light, that's what everybody was smoking.
You had it down back,
Man, I heard somebody doing that the other day, and I was like, I got a pack of Newports. My wife thought he had it that big. And we looked, and sure enough, the guy, he was tapping the Newports down, tore the little thing off, lit the cigarette up. I was like, man, I watched them do it, and I took to it like a duck to water. I never choked, I never coughed. I just knew how to do it.
Yeah.
And it was because I watched people in my family. One day my wife came to me and said she was me and the cigarettes. I was like, okay.
They got me sick of the dog. I hated it. I only
Can't quit her.
because I ate dinner and threw up everything I ate. I tried it for a whole week. I couldn't get into smoking.
Man, it was nothing for me. It was, honestly.
Me and Cool did not get along.
Yeah, and you started out with the wrong stuff. You know, everybody saved you from something you didn't need.
That's right. He surely did.
Yeah. But I had to have an ultimatum thrown down. If you want to marry me, you can't be a smoker. That was it. Boom. There it is. So, or date me, really. So here's the deal. They learned this ignorant, sensual, depraved behavior from others. And that's why he said in verse 20, but that is not how you learn Christ.
Right. Okay, I got you.
Okay? So the same way that people can model negative behavior, this gives us the picture that we can learn to live right because somebody modeled it in front of us. By the way, that's one of the reasons why we ought to be careful what we do, because other people are doing what?
Watching.
They're watching us. And so like, especially when I'm around the youth, I can talk to y'all about some things I can't talk to people who are not mature about. Because they're still impressionable. You know what I'm saying?
I do not like it when people watch me. I don't know why, and I know they watching me. So they just make me, I gotta act right.
Well, that's
Like
good.
getting around my belts and stuff, you know? I gotta walk right, you know what I mean? I gotta sit right. I gotta do everything right in the presence of these people.
No, but guess who's watching you anyway?
I know, but it's like, I don't know, Pastor, but it's a weird feeling when
It
you
is.
watch
It is.
Like that.
It's what, and this is what I call it. When you become a believer, see, people think this is just for pastors, right? And pastors' kids and whatnot. They live a life in the fishbowl. No, we all in this fishbowl. Right? Because somebody knows your testimony. And so they're watching to see, is it real or not?
Right.
And that's why sometimes people will get converted because of what they saw in somebody else's life. Okay? Yeah. So we have to be careful. Now, that's the reason why in verse 22 through 24, there's some things that we're responsible for taking off.
That's right.
And there's some things we're responsible for putting on. What are they?
Putting off the old self.
The old self.
The old way of thinking.
And see, that's the part, because see, they know how I used to be and the way I act now. And they waiting on me to act the way I used to be.
Well, and you know, what'd you say?
Trick them. You say, pull
Yeah.
the trick.
Does it ever come out? Does the old way ever come out?
Yes.
Every now and then it does.
Yeah.
But when it comes out, guess what my brother and my sister's supposed to do?
Check.
Supposed to help each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we see that in one another, hey man, hey bro, come on, let's talk. And then, we help one another with that. Because I have a responsibility to take it off, guess what that also means?
Well, I can put it back on or something?
It's voluntary. Yeah, it's an act of the will now.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, I can consciously choose not to do
Right.
what's wrong.
Right.
What are you gonna say, Brother Fogel?
You know you're gonna walk out here and be a disciple today?
Right.
You know that?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So since I am, I have to, in order to put on the new self, what's the middle part in verse 23?
This is what belongs to you.
To be renewed in the spirit.
To be renewed in the spirit of my mind.
Yeah, renew.
So as the Lord is renewing my mind, I'm able to take off the old and put on the what? The new self, created after the likeness of God, the true righteous and holy. Check this out. It's like having two suits of clothes. And one of them is filthy, dirty, and nasty. And then I've got another set of suit of clothes that's clean and it's fresh and it's brand spanking new. And both of them are hanging in the closet. Well, one of them is on the floor crumpled up. Which one am I going to grab?
Well, you're going to stay with the new. You ain't
Yeah.
going back to the old way. I mean, it's there. But that don't mean you got to pick it up.
Right. But what if the old Levi's are more comfortable?
That's because you're used to your old way of living.
Boom. See, that's it. So see, my mindset has to change.
Yeah.
This is what happened one time. My father said to me and my brothers, he said, y'all need to start learning how to clean up your room. He said, because someday you're going to want a woman to live with you, and no woman is going to want to live with a man in a room like this.
Yeah.
And it was like, ding, 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 ding. The bell went off. So I started learning to clean up better. Me and my brother shared an apartment off campus, and we had some young ladies over. My wife was one of them. And they came in, and they could not believe it. Their apartment was clean. It was spotless. There were no dirty dishes in the and what had happened is that knowing that someday we might have to entertain company changed the way he and I started keeping house.
Okay.
Okay? Both of us to this day often argue about that. Because our Father planted something in our minds
Right.
that help us understand that when folk come to your house, this is how it should be. Okay? What the Lord does in our lives is He plants a new way of living so that I'm no longer comfortable in that old way.
And that's, I was just sitting here thinking for myself. A lot of times I didn't want to change my ways because I was comfortable in my old way. And then when you change in your life, there's some certain things you have to deal with. So it's hard for some people to deal with them old feelings.
Yeah.
And they don't want to rebel and they don't want to deal with them. So that's why they back off.
Yeah.
And I talk to a lot of people.
Yeah, because I'm comfortable, I know this.
In that, yeah.
I don't really know this part yet. But what happens is, as I'm walking with Christ, and He's renewing my mind, and I'm learning a different way, then I become more comfortable over here. Okay? And what will happen is, if you try to go back and do some of the old stuff, it doesn't feel right anymore.
No, it don't. It ain't gonna never feel right.
Yeah.
You're not used to it. That's your old you.
That's the old me. That was before I got saved. Oh, I could do all of that. Or before I grew in Christ. But now, since I've grown, I can't go back and do stuff I used to do. You see what I'm saying?
No, okay.
Yeah.
All right now.
All right. Question 6. Because, oh Lord, we are no longer, and I should have put the word in here, self-deceived. Did everybody get the new handout? If you got the old one?
I can get the new one up.
Okay. You got a new one now? Okay. Because we are no longer self-deceived, is what I should have wrote. Deceived by our own erroneous version of the truth. How are we to interact with others in verses 25 through 29?
Use the truth, forgive,
Speak the truth, forgive. What else?
don't be angry.
Control and anger.
Control your anger.
Well, you gave us a new principle last week, and that was self-control.
Self-control.
That's a deep one, being able to control
You
yourself.
can do it.
And I caught myself doing it Monday, a couple of Mondays. dealing with people that's,
I was watching you. Be
I
honest.
just told my man, be nice. Come on, man, just be nice.
Yeah, because this is what happened. Oh, man. I think I preached a message on this. I know I preached it. I don't know if I preached it here. But you know how it is when the person comes, the UPS person comes, and they ask you to sign for the package?
Yeah.
What if you don't want the package?
Don't sign for it.
Don't sign for it. That's the same thing when somebody brings you a funky attitude, or they're mean, or they're nasty.
Yeah.
You don't have to sign for that package.
Yeah.
Signing for the package is when I give them what they gave me.
Okay.
If you came to me with a bad attitude, a negative attitude, and I cussed you out,
But that's what I wanted to give him, a bad attitude, but I didn't.
but you didn't sign for the package.
Yeah, hey, be nice. All
You don't
right.
have to sign for that package. Okay? What Paul is teaching the Ephesian believers is that since my mind has changed, my behavior needs to follow mine.
Okay.
Yeah, since Christ has renewed my mind. So now, rather than lying, I can speak truth. Because check this out. Because we're members of one another, if I do something to somebody else that hurts them, guess who I'm also hurting? Christ, and who else? Myself. Okay? If we're all in a, what do you call them thing, a life raft,
Yeah.
and I start poking holes in somebody else, what's going to happen? Sooner or later, we all going to drown. Okay? And so he's telling us, check this other one out. Verse 26, be angry and do not sin. What does that imply?
You know,
Don't act on your anger and do something stupid.
Yeah.
Because you're mad, you're going to do something stupid.
Does it also not imply that it's possible to be angry without sinning?
That's right.
Yeah. Because there is such a thing called righteous indignation. And remember when Christ whipped them out of the temple, he was angry.
Okay.
But he wasn't doing something that was sinful. He was doing something that was right. So sometimes our anger can motivate us to move in the right direction rather than the wrong direction.
Okay, so that's where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's he say? Avoid sinning when angry.
Yes.
To deal with sin quickly.
Yes.
If it does accompany anger, the emotion of anger is not sinful in itself. There is such a thing as righteous indignation.
Yes.
It's a little bit deep there. I don't quite
Yes, it
understand.
is a little deep there.
Let's say that I see a guy out there on the corner beating the lady up trying to take her purse. And I go out there and I stop him. Did I do something that was wrong?
No.
Might I have been angry when I did that?
Yes.
Yeah, you was angry at that young man.
I was angry at that guy, right? See, you assumed he was young, see? So, about that old man.
You know, old man gonna be out there whooping man.
Be surprised nowadays.
So if we intervened and I was angry because he was hurting somebody and I stopped him, that was anger without sin.
Okay.
Okay?
Good illustration.
Yeah. Because anger is not always bad. There are some things we should be angry about. They shooting up Harriet Street. We ought to be angry about that. You know what I'm saying? Some friends of ours, their daughter got killed in Chicago. She was standing outside, holding a one-year-old baby. Just standing there talking to somebody. And they drove by and they shot. They were just shooting. And she protected the baby and hid behind the car, but she got hit. And by the time they got to the hospital, she died. We ought to be angry about stuff like that.
Very angry.
You see what I'm saying? But the flip side of that is, that doesn't mean that we mount up and go get a vigilante party together and go hunt people down. So there is the concept of righteous indignation. Okay? Here's some other characteristics of how we're supposed to interact with one another. We're supposed to work so we can help others. Now, I don't know if you all know the background behind this. Why did Paul put that in there?
We're supposed to work to help over, because when we work, our cup overflow, and then we be able to share it with other people.
Yeah, but why did he have to tell them that in verse 28?
Okay, hold on.
Look at verse 28.
let the thief no longer steal or break. Let him labor.
Huh? They were what?
They work instead of still.
Yes, because rather than engaging in criminal behavior to survive, what he tells them to do is work. Because when you work, you can share with somebody else that's in need without implicating them in your own sin.
Okay, that's what I just said.
Yeah, but see, there's another level of this. If I know that the trains are coming through town and they got a whole load of DVRs on them.
Okay.
And so I'm gonna go boost off the train, and I'm gonna sell those DVRs in the neighborhood at every barber shop and beauty shop. And I roll over my little wares. I got some DVRs. Y'all want them? Who am I implicating in what I'm doing? Everybody I'm selling.
I'm selling. You're sinning. It's the devil. Quiet as it's kept.
Yeah, but I'm now involving other people in my mess. But if I go out there and I work, and I'm able to help other people, then that doesn't implicate them as well.
Right.
See the difference?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to figure out how they call it in the law sense. If I go in the store and I steal and you hanging out with me, you just involved in life.
I'm an accomplice.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But if I didn't even know you stole it, let's say you go in the store and you stole a pack of T-bones.
Yeah.
And you come to Pastor, man, I got some T-bones. You want some? Yeah, man, put in T-bones. Shoot.
Once you buy them, you implicated or whatever.
Yeah, I received stolen merchandise. So I can be charged as well.
So that's the simple nature.
Yeah, and so what he's arguing, understand the culture of that day. Understand the culture of that day was that you get by however you can.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
Okay? If Sister Robinson, has got some tickets to the opera, and she don't know where they came from. But Pastor, I got tickets. You know, Sister Waddles, anniversary coming up. Y'all want to go? And I take those tickets, but I've been implicated as well.
Pastor, you make me think of a mother, and you putting chills on my back, because you make me think of how I used to try to bring. You can't bring that stuff in here. Who you get it from?
Right.
Where it come from? Well, give it back to Joe Blow. And you can't bring it. I ain't give it to you.
Now what if you were working?
Then it's a different story. And I bought it and I brought it up in there. Whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's what he's dealing with, is because what we often do before we come to Christ is we implicate people in our sins.
Yeah.
We draw them into stuff that we're doing. And what Paul is saying, if you're working and you're living an honest and upright life, it doesn't affect others negatively.
Okay.
Okay? Then we can legitimately share with other people who have needs, because now we're living in the overflow. So if somebody needs something, we can help them, and our conscience is free, and theirs is as well.
But what about if you don't know how they actually got it? Because see, I don't know. I'm just thinking, like you said, the old ways and the way it used to be. And when it comes to power.
Yeah, but if I'm a believer, I'm going to ask the question.
Right, okay. You're going to find out how they got it.
Yeah, when we're in the barber shop and he walks in there with that tracksuit that I want, you know what I'm saying? Remember when they used to have those Adidas tracksuits for everybody? Man, there was a guy that would come in there, man, I got him in red, I got him in blue, I got him in green, I got him in gray. What color do you want? I said, man, where you get it from? Oh, don't worry about that. I wrote it. Okay? All right, another one in verse 29. What is corrupting talk? What does it do?
It tears people down.
Tears people down.
In verse 29, let
And
no corruptions talk.
I like Sister Jenkins, but I don't know about her. You know what I'm saying? She act like a saint, but I don't know. Ain't nobody be that way. Y'all know the Sister Jenkins, right?
Yeah.
Okay, she is the same God. She is perfect, I think, right? She's pretty close.
Lord, you don't move nothing in our house.
Oh, okay. Don't move nothing in the house. Okay, I never know this. I don't know. But see, just that kind of thing, right? Didn't that make everybody feel squeamish and kind of slimy? Okay? Because what happens is it means that it's talk designed to tear down somebody else's character. Okay. And who did I say it to?
A person of very high character.
Yeah, but I'm saying in this example that he's using when he said, let no corrupting talk come out of your mouths, who is he speaking to?
Talking about one person, so.
Yeah, he's talking to the church,
Okay.
not talking about who else.
The person who's committing sin, I guess?
Uh-uh.
You got me confused. I'm trying to follow you.
Okay, hold on. Let no corrupting talk come out of your mouths, but only such as is good for what?
Building up the person of.
And Paul is writing to the church. So who is he telling them not to be dogging out?
The congregation? I don't know.
One another.
Oh, yeah, the congregation is.
Yeah. And not necessarily just folk in church, but also what?
Folks outside the church.
People outside as
Neighbors,
well.
all
Yeah.
right.
So he said no corrupting talk. That means that I can't talk about folk even in the community. I need to be careful what I'm saying because I don't want to tear down. I want to be in the business of doing what?
Building up.
Building up. Yeah.
I follow you now.
Yeah. And here's the other piece of it. As fits the occasion, that it may give grace to those who hear. Okay? Because when I'm tearing my brother or sister down, guess what that does? Guess how the Lord feels about it in verse 30. Yes. So the Lord is upset when we're tearing one another down.
Yeah, he see us quarreling or fighting or being honoring each other, I guess. I don't know.
We're talking about his child
Right.
that he created in his own image.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I'm going to give you some time. I'm going to give you about 7 minutes to answer questions 7 and 8 and 9. Give you about 7 minutes to talk to one another and answer
Well,
those
Pastor,
questions.
I got to admit, I hadn't had a chance to study the lesson.
Well, get together with these other folks that has. Now, wait a minute. Are you all the group that didn't get these questions? I didn't give you all, was the page didn't have both sides?
You gave us 6, 7, and 8.
So it ended today, didn't it? Okay, all right, I'm sorry. All right, let's just talk about it together. Okay, there's a handout. I didn't remember which class, if it was the morning class or the afternoon class. All right, so there are 5 exhortations that Paul gives.
I don't think they heard you, Pastor.
Hold on, y'all. Everybody will get the right question, so we're gonna go over it together. Okay, that's my fault. So there are 5 exhortations that he gives. What are they?
5, stop deceiving.
Stop deceiving.
Stop deceiving, what else?
Avoid sinning.
Avoid sinning, what else?
Refrain from
Stop
stealing.
stealing.
Stop stealing.
Speak good and do good things.
Speak good things.
They get rid of 6 devices.
And then later he gives them 6 advices to get rid of. So there's 5 things to do. Okay? Let's rewind and say it again.
Stop deceiving.
Stop deceiving.
Avoid sinning.
Avoid sinning.
Avoid sinning.
Refrain from
Refrain from
stealing.
stealing.
Refrain from stealing.
Speak good things.
Speak good things.
Give it 6 devices.
All right? Very good. Very good. All right. So those were on page 99 to 100 and page 103. Then he gives us 6 what? 6 vices to get rid of. What were those?
Bitterness.
Yes. Well, it's wrath, which comes from bitterness. What was the next one?
Anger.
Anger. Look at the definition of anger. Anger is inappropriate, noisy assertiveness and abuse. What's the next one? Yeah, shouting. We don't ever hear people shouting and arguing in church, do we?
No. I see them bust a little bit, but nice shout anger.
But what about the next one? What is malice?
It's bad feelings toward another person or people.
Woo!
Say that again about malice.
It's bad feelings toward.
Bad feelings toward others. I just don't like her. I know that's your little friend or
What
whatever,
about you just don't like their behavior?
but I just don't like her.
Congealed hatred?
He gets on my nerves.
Congealed hatred?
Congealed hatred.
Malice?
Yeah, I just keep storing it. You know what happens to honey if you keep it too long?
It turns into
It congeals, it candies.
yeah.
Turns in, and then it's not useful. Okay? Now, malice is the same way. If you hold it in your heart, sooner or later it starts affecting your heart.
Well,
Yeah.
won't Christ come into you and give you to now, I mean, where you can, what word am I looking for?
Yes.
I want to say forgive.
Yes.
If you forgive that person, whoever it is that you got all this malice from, won't it like give you an opportunity to love yourself a little bit more?
Yes.
That should be doing something to you.
Yes, that's true, but I have to be willing to,
I want to say repent, but repent of what? Repent of my anger that I
Yeah.
feel towards this person?
yeah,
And
yeah.
where I can go on, you know, because every time you see it, it's going to pop up.
They don't even know you're mad at them anymore.
But you know what hurt that person more than you being mad at him?
Bring them to their
Turn yourself around and love him.
Yeah.
Well, I do. I treat them with kindness and niceness, even though I might have an attitude with it. But they don't know I got the attitude. I'm the only one know it. So if I repent, it's like me forgiving themselves to where I can forgive men. And I
Yeah, but
see
see,
them.
when I'm angry with somebody, they don't know why, and they don't even know I'm angry with them, who am I really punishing?
Me.
Yeah.
See, so
Why
now,
do that?
so now, well,
Yeah, that's why verse 32 there. What does that say?
verse 32.
Be kind to
Be
one
kind to
another,
one another.
tender-hearted, forgiving one another.
And I do be kind to this person.
Let's look at the whole thing. Be kind to one another. What does tender-hearted mean?
There you go. All right. Because my heart ain't tender at all when I do.
Boom. See, that's the thing.
Yeah.
He's dealing with the external behavior
Right.
and the internal attitude.
Okay.
Because the reality is people can tell the difference.
Yeah. I can tell the difference. And then,
Yeah,
I just
if I really don't like you, let me pick on Sharon for a second. She ain't real sensitive, so.
Be surprised.
Hey, how you doing, sis? Good to see you. See, that's one thing, right? How you doing? And then, Pastor,
that's the way it be.
don't it feel different?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
And keep on pushing. It's a big difference.
if you put in your heart that I can't be mad at you.
That's what I'm, yeah.
That's tender-hearted. What you just said is tender-hearted.
Right.
You have to put it in your own heart.
Right.
I can't mistreat this person.
I don't care what they do.
Yeah. What's our motive? Go ahead, sister.
Well, I was just- okay. So can you not like somebody but still not mistreat them? I mean,
That's the whole point.
I may not like their behavior,
Well, yeah,
but they don't ever have to know.
that is correct.
But the thing is, within my own self, there's something that I have to evaluate.
Uh-huh.
And that's the last part. Forgiving one another as God in Christ forgave you. So if anybody deserves to be angry at somebody, the Lord deserves to be angry with us.
Basically, yeah.
But He's forgiven us. So let me give us this definition of forgiveness that I think will help us. Forgiveness is removing the right to punish.
So by me being angry, it's like in my heart I'm punishing them,
That's
or
right.
I'm punishing myself.
And I haven't forgiven them.
Right, okay.
It's removing the right to punish. Forgiveness does not mean that I put myself in a situation where I continue to be hurt.
Right.
But it means that I have withdrawn my right to punish that person. See the
Even though you're
difference?
not really punishing them, it's all in your head.
Oh,
your
yes,
heart.
I am.
Everybody
Everybody
well.
see it.
Yeah, by the way I approach them, hey, hi, and they go about my business.
Well, I see them coming in this door, and I see them, and they see me, so I go out.
Yeah.
Look, y'all think I'm kidding. I knew two sisters, I told you this before. One sat over there in church, the other one sat over there in church. I didn't even know they were related until their mama died. No, baby, you didn't know these folks.
Oh.
Not the people I'm talking about, but you might have had another situation like that, right?
Right.
Okay,
Because if we go over one church,
You know what the problem is? They had fallen out, and they didn't fall back in together until the mom died.
Our Savior hung on that cross, and he said, forgive them, Father, because they know not what they do. All right, now is he saying right there?
That's it.
All them sinners that
Yeah.
not believe in him?
Yeah.
So that's-
He's not just talking about the soldiers that are crucifying.
Right.
He's talking about us as well.
So we got to love everybody.
Yeah. So if Christ can forgive us
Right.
for what happened to him,
yes.
and we have not experienced what he did, then we can be tender-hearted toward other people.
There we go.
Yeah. And the reason sometimes that we're not, here's the flip side of this. Ooh, let's flip this around. Boom! Guilt. Sometimes the reason we mistreat other people is not because of what they did to us, but because we know we did them dirty. And we're still mad because they've never come to us about it.
Okay.
That's just the reality. And sometimes it's eating us alive that they didn't come after us. Yeah, what should I do then?
You should, whatever you did, own up to it.
Yeah, I need to take responsibility and apologize. Yeah,
Or you ain't ever gonna get over it.
that's right. We live in the land of no responsibility. The United States of America is now the land of no responsibility. You're a victim. Everybody's a victim of something, everybody needs therapy. Now, some of this stuff we just need to own up to, we did. And we need to apologize, and we need to make amends, and we need to make restitution if necessary. That's just the reality of the situation. Okay?
So if you lied on somebody,
For me?
I said, if you lied on.
Oh, I was about to say, man, let me get my business like that. What you doing?
Lying may be an accepted weapon in the warfare waged by the world, but it has no place in the life of the Christian.
Yes, sir.
Read that again, please.
Say it again, please.
Lying may be an accepted weapon in the warfare waged by the world, but it has no place in the life of the Christian.
Okay.
What we have to be careful about is the corporate cutthroat culture
Yes.
that says, in order for me to advance, I have to take you out. Some of us have worked in places like that, where in order for me to look good, I have to make you look bad. Then we bring that attitude into the church, that we all can't shine. But that's backwards. Because the Lord says, let your light so shine, and make you what? Your good works will glorify your Father who is in heaven. Okay? All right, now, the next question, question 10, is the one I actually left off. That's homework. Question 10. You don't have a question 10, but let me give you the right lesson. So there should be a question 10 on there. You have it? So that's homework. What in this list?
No, I don't have questions.
You don't have question 10?
No, I'm not.
Anybody else not have it? You don't have it? Okay. This is the most important question. What in this list personally challenges you the most? Knowing that verse 23 says that God is the one doing the renewal process. Is there any specific area in your life where you have been resisting his work in you?
Yes.
Don't say it out loud.
Okay.
True confession.
This is homework. Okay?
And you know, I want to say a lot of that had to do with my education required as a kid.
Well, it might, but here's what I want you to do. Take some time to think it through.
All right.
Pray and make plans to cooperate with the Lord's work on and in you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Homework.
That's homework. Any questions? What questions do you have? When I was in seminary, there was a guy named Bill Bryan. He was our chaplain. He was as country as cornbread. but he loved jazz.
You know what?
Jazz. And he loved hymns. And in chapel, he would play his trumpet. He looked like Colonel Sanders a little bit. But he had long, almost like hippie hair, like his hair hung down. So people sometimes didn't know how to take it. But one thing I learned about him was he would not tolerate people mistreating other people.
He would not tolerate people mistreating other people. So when he seen it happen, what would he do?
He would intervene.
Okay. Be like, y'all be nice to each other.
He had this phrase that he used that I've never forgotten called body life, which means that this is how we're supposed to behave in the body of Christ. This is body life. We cooperate. We work together. We love one another. We share with one another. We use our gifts to help bless one another and strengthen one another. We don't tear people down. We're not prejudiced. We're not ignorant. He would use these words to describe how things should be.
Okay.
He called it body life. And when I was studying this, that came back to my mind. He's with the Lord now, but his work continues in us. And so let's practice body life with one another. Amen?
Amen.
The whole church need to hear this.
Amen. I've been begging folks to come to Bible study. So guess what? I hereby deputize you to spread this word.
Okay.
Amen.
I will.
Okay? All right. Father in heaven, thank you for this powerful lesson, God, and how you are working in our lives.
Yes.
We pray, Lord, that we would carry this message, not just by word, but by deed, by how we love people, how we treat them, God, how we respond when we're responding to wrong, Lord, by how we choose to be tender-hearted and kind, remembering that you were that way with us.
Yes, Lord.
The Bible says, oh God, in Romans 5:8, that while we were yet sinners, you demonstrated your love for us because you died for us. And may we have that same spirit of sacrifice as we love others. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
God bless you, Lord, peace.